Hi and welcome back to Studio Tamera, the Mystical Paintress. Today I would like to send a shout out to all of the red box fillers. So if you're out there filling the video boxes for us during the virus, thank you. I always like to acknowledge someone different in every video and say thank you. So you are appreciated. Thank you. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm trying to be outside in the garden and doing more and more plein air painting and doing more and more, you know, as the seasons go by. Spring is coming to a close and some of those flowers are starting to close. The trillium's closing. So I'm trying to record them, and I have all my little boards in a row from all the plants in the yard. Well, the last 2 days it's been raining incredibly, nonstop raining and cold. The temperature dropped. So you have two options. Option number one would be get a really good high definition TV, and I've got one right here, right next to my easel, and get photos of things you want to paint from your yard, and you can transfer them from your phone right to the TV. And they won't have the purple like normal photographs will, so it'll be pretty close to painting outdoors. Your other option for everyone who doesn't have a studio already set up with a TV would be get a good book. This is the new American Herbal by Stephen Orr, and there are lots of phenomenal photographs. So I thought it would be fun to just look through the book, find a random picture that I liked. Actually, I kind of like this chamomile right here on the back. See the chamomile? Chamomile's an herb I have in my garden, and it I use the flowers for baths and for tea, for calming, or for at night when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. So I've got my chamomile right here. Here's my baby board. I've been using these baby boards because you can do quick little studies for bigger paintings, and then the video doesn't go on and on and on and on for hours and hours. So my paint palette with my Gram paints, it's the same every time. Black, purple, alizarin crimson, cad red, cad orange. This is yellow ochre, Naples, cad yellow light, sap green. I usually have Viridian too. I put it over here. And then I have down here, I have burnt umber, burnt sienna, cobalt blue, and ultramarine blue. And white is always in a huge gob here. And sometimes I'll mix grays or put violet gray here. So this is what my palette looks like every single time. And the reason that I do this is because your memory, muscle memory in your hands, you just get used to mixing. I can almost mix paint without looking because I've been doing this same exact palette for 14 years. So I know exactly where everything is. Noticing I was out doing a little bit of painting in the yard and work and gardening, and I got a little bit of a tan and turning a little darker. I think that having a little bit darker skin sometimes makes you look a little better. So, all right, so we are going to zoom you right in here up close. Ooh, there you go. So you can see what I'm doing. All right. Get you in, make sure the video doesn't shut off, yada, yada. All right. Yeah, rainy, cold days don't mean you can't do art. Just means you have to improvise. You have to find a different option. So, no problems, only solutions when you're living the dream, right? So we're going to lower this a little. There. That's good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move my Terp can a little closer so I'm not reaching in front of the camera while we're painting this little chamomile. And I'm not going to paint the entire picture there. I'm going to just paint a little, well, hand didn't want to go in. I'm just going to paint a little section on here. So I'm going to pick an area that I see on this. There you go. Right here. Okay? And then I'm just going to hold this in front of you so you guys can get a really good up close. The video's still rolling. Woohoo! I am kind of a newbie at the whole, not just planning the videos, but also I'm the director, the tech person, the camera person, the actress, the artist. Life's great. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I am going to mix a dark background color. See this dark background color? We're going to use burnt umber, ultramarine blue. Mix it. And I'm going to add just a tiny touch of purple because yellow and purple are complementary and the center of these flowers is yellow. So a little more brown. And then I'm going to add a tiny bit of violet gray just so it's broken color a little bit, all right? And I'm going to do these this way. I could put this here, but I'm kind of holding it so you guys can see up close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take the dark, a little more ultramarine blue, umber, purple, tiny bit of violet gray. And if it's not moving, if the paint is not moving the way you want, walnut oil from the grocery store in a little cup, dip your brush and just let one drop go into your pile. There it is. Now this will move a lot easier for you and it's not toxic. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to block in this area over here. All right, like that. And then as it gets lower, it's lighter. So I'm going to take a little purple, a little violet gray, dip it in the turp to get it to move some. And I'm going to just keep painting. Squint, paint what you see. Everybody goes, oh my God, what did you do? I don't know. I just squint, paint what I see. Okay. So I like all this movement of these brush strokes too, and I don't want to overpaint this. You don't want to look at this and go, oh, I need to paint over so everything's the same, because then it's no fun for your eye to look at. You want this to be fun for your eye to look at. So take a little violet gray, squint, and just kind of touch it here and there. Put a little bit in here in the direction your plant's going to be going. Just a very little bit. You notice in my brush, it's barely touching, right? So we've got that. I'm looking at this picture. Got that little flower, happy little chamomile there. You know what I should be doing? I should be drinking a cup of chamomile tea while I do this to help me relax. That's what we should have. Forget wine and paint. Then you get all drunk, and when you're effed up, you can't really do a nice painting. So we should have a tea and paint and have tea of what we're painting. Okay, somebody quick, call the patent office. That's my idea. Just kidding. My goal by doing these videos is to get more people doing art and having fun and enjoying art, because There's a whole world of happiness here behind the paint. I'm telling you, it's fabulous, and it's fun, and I love it, and I think you would too, if you're not already painting. If you are, you know what I'm saying. Know what I'm saying? You're not the know I'm saying police, are you? Know what I'm saying? Okay. Sorry, that was a Trailer Park Boys reference from the series. I get a little silly when I paint because I'm so happy, and I don't know. Okay. So there is my basic background I just stuck in, right? Did everybody see me do that? I didn't do it too fast, I hope. If I did, you can rewind it, pause, play it again, and stuff. All right, the darker area down here, I'm going to use a little violet gray. I'm going to use a little viridian green. Watch what happens. Violet gray and viridian green makes a cold green-gray color. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue. Definitely blues it up. A little sap green. The reason I'm doing this, I'm searching for a dark shade that looks shadowy and blue, but not too blue. Put a little cobalt in there. There we go. Now we got it. Dip it in the walnut oil. Roll your brush and just squint and touch the side of the canvas. I want it to be a little browner, so I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber. There's the color I'm looking for right there. So if you can't mix this color, ladies and gentlemen, go back to one of my earlier videos on color mixing and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice until you know exactly what colors you need to mix to do certain things. Because until you can do that, you're going to struggle. I recommend go back and check out my video on color mixing green, blue, and skin tone. And then check out my video on values and how to go from light to dark and all those colors. I have 2 beginner videos somewhere in my YouTube series. So, all right. So there is our darker darks. And some people are going, what in the hell is she doing? Well, every painting goes through a stage called the uglies. That's kind of where we're at right now. So I'm all right with uglies. I need a little bit of this dark because there's a couple spots in here. So when I do spots, when I see little spots, nooks and crannies, I just touch the brush because your eye will make it up. Your eye will make up the spots. You don't need to. The human eye will see something and say, oh, this is that, even if it's not. Every time it will. It's psychology, so there. All right, chamomile. Now, this isn't painted from my yard, so it won't be quite as sentimental as the yard paintings. Okay, a little sap green. And I am totally winging this, by the way. I had no plan, I had no script, I just randomly picked a picture. And you can do this every single day if you want to. You really want to get good at something? Do it every single day. Painting, drawing, video games, whatever you do every day, you're going to get really good at it. Okay, this is that limey color, right? Cad yellow light, sap green, cad yellow. Then I added white to lift out. And I squint, and I'm just going to touch in here where I see it, because I see it in here quite a few places. And I'm not trying to do a masterpiece here for a Oil Painters of America show or anything. Just practicing. The more you paint and the more you practice, the more you're creating pathways in your nerves, hand-eye coordination, and all of that. So practice, practice, practice. Okay, this leaf here, see it? It's just kind of like, I'm going to get paint all over my fingers. That's okay. It goes like this, and then like this. It comes forward, and then it has this little friend that hangs out over here, a little bit darker, and there's just a hint of something here, here, here. I'm okay with that. You can use your fingers too, by the way. It's totally okay to do that. I want to paint some chives tomorrow. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow, guys. What do you think? You want to paint some chives with me tomorrow? I think they're blooming and they have really cool purple buds. One of my herbal recipe online groups had a recipe for oil and vinegar with chive flowers. So what you do is you take and you fill a jar with chive flower tops and you chop the chives up, and then you pour vinegar in one jar. You do it again, you pour oil in the other jar. You let them sit for 3 weeks in a dark, cool place. Then you strain the plant matter out and you have this cool purpley vinegar and this oniony type chive flavored oil, and you can use that oil and vinegar as salad dressing. Some people use balsamic vinegar. I just use white vinegar. But okay, so how are my impressionistic chives? By the way, you're wondering what I'm wiping my brush on? It's on my knees. See, I just have this rag here. I go on the terp, and then I wipe it here. So, just in case you were wondering. All right. So this is where we are at so far. And I'm seeing in here, I'm going to use some Viridian, some ultramarine blue, and make it a little darker. I see in here, see how behind this leaf, we've got some real dark. In order to make that leaf look like this particular plant, what we need to do is we just need to suggest a few of the characteristics of this specific plant, especially if we get somebody big time in herbs on here and they'll be like, that's not what chamomile looks like. You screwed it up. Yeah, I know. Just like when you paint a bird with his mouth open and you do it in a winter painting, like a grouse, like my friend Heiner did. That's a no-no. Their mouth's open in the summer. That's when they're sweating. Anyways, you live and learn. Okay, so there's, see how I just kind of suggested that. I'm just going to paint for a little bit here and not talk and see what we can come up with here. Let's see. I'm going to actually put this rag up here instead of on my knee. Okay. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., bright and early at the Nature Center, Kensington. The Michigan Plein Air Painters will be meeting. There'll probably be 20 of us if the weather's nice. We'll paint somewhere in the park. Last week I painted a cherry tree. Turned out okay. Not the best, but you win a few, you lose a few. You either win or you learn. Shouldn't say you lose. You don't lose. Every now and then you'll paint something you don't want to give your aunt for Christmas, though, I'll tell you that. All right. Real quick, fast little painting. Squint, put it in. We need some more green. Gonna get some green in here, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just suggest some too out here. See how there's these blurry little suggestions? All you gotta do, touch the brush. That's all you gotta do. And they will read, and your eyes will tell you, oh yeah, that's a plant. Right? See how this is starting to look now like a little bit like chamomile? Okay, maybe not exactly. I've never really studied Kind of reminds me of parsley, these leaves in a way, how they hang. But, okay, and then right in the middle here, we got something light. Okay, now, I'm going to use a little violet gray with that dark green pile. And I'm going to just come in and kind of fill in some of this a little to blend it. Violet gray, dark green. Just because I don't want that many spots in here. I feel like we had too many. Little beige spots from the undercover. Okay, and this. I actually ended up doing a lot more than I thought I was going to here. All right. Same brush, cleaning it real good. Wipe, 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 wipe. And, okay, for the white, I'm going to use a little Naples and white. And you got to make sure your brush is clean. Otherwise it'll be green, and there is no green there. Even though color reflects, there is no green in those petals when I look at them. So they're actually very white, but I'm making a little beige for the ones that are like, you know. All right, here's another secret trick. So if you get one of these, it's like a eraser or something, painting eraser it's called, I really don't know. But you can actually erase, lift paint off. You can also use a rag, you can also use your finger. But if I wanted to put a flower right here, see? And I didn't leave a spot for it, I have to get that paint off. Otherwise the white is going to pick up the green and it's going to be gross. All right. So let's try it. Let's see. What I see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a bunch of petals in this one. And the white petals are small, and the inside yellow part is big. So these aren't like daisies. You know, you got to pay attention when you paint things. You don't want to say, okay, well, my brain knows, you know, flowers are always like this, and then paint them all one way. Also, wipe your brush off as soon as you do a paint a little white, wipe your brush off. If you pick green up. If you don't, you're okay. If you pick up, see how that's dark? Wipe it off. Get more light. Otherwise, you're going to have a mess. Trust me. Once you get a mess, you can't undo it. You got to let it dry or you got to wipe it off. So, okay, I want to put a flower right here. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to erase, 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 erase. Wipe it. Get a little white. This is mostly, I'm doing this stuff just to show you guys all these cool tricks. Because my goal is I want you to paint more. I want you to have fun and enjoy painting. Okay, up here, there's one. Up here, oop, too much paint. I've been using the entire time the same brush. So people say, what? You just painted black. How can you be painting white? Well, wash your brush real good. Wipe your brush real good. I'm going to show you guys another trick here in a minute too. So white, white. You want to create the illusion. Try not to do polka dots too. I know it's hard, but try not to. See the green in there? That's bad. Cleaning the brush. Oops. I don't want that green in there at all. So I'm wiping it off with a rag. Grab some more white, mix it in. Okay, try again. This one has little petals going upward. And I mean, I could be using a little brush and making these perfect little petals and trying to be photographic. Absolutely, you can. That's not my goal. My goal is not to have a photograph. My goal is to create an impression of what I see and just record the fresh flowers. Okay, and there's some here. And I have one here. See, the paint underneath is getting too thick, so it's kind of running, and I didn't really want that, but oh well. I'll show you what to do to get rid of that too if you don't want it. But okay, so let's say your paint's too thick, which ours is right here, okay? And you want it off, so you just take your palette knife, lift it off. Take your palette knife, lift it off. This is a learning video, so I'm doing all of this on purpose. Normally I wouldn't have to lift it off because I would know what to do. But I want to show you guys some tricks. All right. So we lifted it off. Yay! It's looking good. Isn't this fun? Now when I squint and hold it back, it's good. I'm happy. I like it. The next thing I'm going to do, take some cad yellow light, mix it into that pile of white right there. There's your highlight yellow. Take some cad yellow in the pile next to it. Now, do you see the difference? See the difference in cad yellow and cad yellow light with white? Cad yellow light with white is going to be a highlight, so we're going to keep these two very separate. And we're going to even add a little white to that yellow because I don't want, I'm going to even make a pile to the side with a little orange. And the bottoms are darker, so take a little, you can even put a little ochre in there if you want, to the bottom. And then as you come up, they'll get lighter. Why? Because where's the sun hitting it? From the top. And the tops of these are going to be the lightest because that's the direct contact with the sun. So if you're confused, take a deep breath, yawn, chill. We're good. There's no worries here. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to take my highlights. Watch this. Cad yellow, light, and white. And then you go on top of them. See that? And that just has a little hint of, oh, the sun's there. You don't want to overdo that. But you just touch them. Just ever so lightly. And move your brush and twist it side to side and just have fun with it. A little white there. There's a little white here. Oh, see? It's got dark. Got to wipe that off. Pick up more white, dab your brush. Okay, this one's got a little yellow in the middle. And when you hold them far enough away, it starts to look like your little painting is chamomile. What else do we got in here? We got... Okay. Also, if it's too thick, you can use your fingers. You can always use your fingers. I do. Gives it a little bit of mystery sometimes, doesn't it? And then the stalks in here kind of appear to be even a little lighter, don't they? You know what though? I'm okay with that. I'm gonna wash my brush off and I'm gonna go back in and take a little dark. And I, by all means, don't have to do this because this is a pretty good study. But I wanted to see, sometimes if you add just a few dark strokes here and there, it'll make things pop out more. The dark makes the light look lighter, remember. And I'm going to do a little negative painting between these stalks. And I'm almost debating if I want to do one flower with a little more detail just to make it come forward. I don't know if I want to or not at this point. Yeah, I'm going to give this guy a little more detail just so that it looks like chamomile. If your brush is muddy, take the time, wipe it off. Otherwise, everything will start blending together and you'll lose your darks and lights and it'll be a disaster. So you don't want disasters, not while you're painting. Painting's supposed to be fun. Okay, then we got this, we got that there. Okay, so I am happy with that. I would say my fingers are full of goo, but it's good to go. So, there you go. Here's your little chamomile. If you enjoyed my video, please hit like and subscribe. It's free. I'm shooting for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your time today. And paint on. Sending positive energy out to everyone. Bye.